Day 3. Revelstoke to Medicine Hat. I woke up in the morning to find a municipal worker cleaning up the debris that was left by the lorry drivers the night before. Despite having a washroom facility and rubbish bins, many of the people used this rest stop but couldn't bother to keep it clean and resort to fly tipping. As would be the main morning routine for the majority of my trip, I would use the closest washroom facility, clean myself using kindertucher, and change my clothes before embarking on the adventure that would lay ahead of me. After filling up on petrol and Tim Hortons, I was ready to go. I continued on with Trans-Canada Highway number 1 eastward towards Calgary. Here I was in the middle of the summer during the wildfire season, and the skies were relatively clear. In one day I drove through Revelstoke National Park, Glacier National Park, Yoho National Park, and Banff National Park. The chain of national parks of Canada with Trans-Canada Highway number 1 coursing through them was a well thought out plan. I stopped numerous times to take pictures, standing in awe with the Rocky Mountain range that stood before me. Millions upon millions of years it took for these mountains to form from tectonic plate activity. Hard for me to imagine that these mountains were once the ocean floor, but now snow-capped summits of splendor. I drove straight from Revelstoke to Calgary. It had been nearly 20 years since I was in Calgary last, and last time I was here I merely drove through. After leaving the scenic Rocky Mountain range, the highway leveled out as I approached Calgary. Not wanting to miss the chance to explore Cowtown, I parked in the downtown core and took a leisurely stroll. With the Calgary Stampede just ending a day before, Cowtown seemed to have far less activity than what I expected. The downtown of Calgary was screaming oil and gas, as all the major petroleum companies had glass towers in their name. I walked through Chinatown, which didn't really seem to have anything that impressed me, and walked by the park parallel to the Bow River. Although spending time in Alberta was a major part of my original plans, I decided it was on my return leg that I would enjoy Wild Rose Country. Calgary seemed to be a pretty city, but it was time for me to move on. After leaving Calgary, I took what would be a sprint towards Ontario. My goal on this leg of the trip was to reach Toronto as quickly as possible. Onward with Trans-Canada Highway number 1 towards Medicine Hat. After driving for several hours, I arrived at my destination late into the evening. It was still hot when I arrived, but after driving almost the entire day, I easily fell into slumber, with my thoughts fixated on what adventures lie ahead of me. Subscribe to the Travel Experience channel. Tap the bell and join the conversation in the comments section below.